Having dual careers in acting and behavioral education is a marriage made in heaven. At the root of both is an endless attempt to understand what it means to be human. I make it to the door about half a second before Zach. Fuck him, Ms. S. Fuck him. Get out of my way, Ms. S. He's attacking the air with a violence I haven't seen from him before. The door frame grinding into my back is starting to smart. Zach's hot breath is coming at me in spurts as he tries to get past me into the sped hallway and certain mayhem without touching me. Zach, breathe. Come on. He struggles against the frame too, but now with less effort. Whacks the wall by the light switch. I'm gonna kill him! One last half-hearted lunge. Yes, I know, I get it. Punching the shit out of Jamie would feel really, really good right now, but here's the thing. It'll feel good for about 10 minutes until the machinery of punitive justice steps in and makes your life miserable. We're gonna find another way to deal with this, okay? Okay? I could punch you right now, Ms. S. I remain stock still in the doorway and hold Zach's fiery gaze. Yep, you could. I cannot stop you. But I don't think you're going to. You're not mad at me.
Why the second memoir, Chimera, A Shapeshifter's Journey?
Well, I mean, I fully stated in the first book I was only going to go up until the birth of my children. I also have a full second career as a special ed case manager, special ed teacher for students with emotional behavioral disabilities. And having done that for 20 some years, and also having a personal reality in terms of things like mental illness, divorce, addiction. These are things that are so webbed in our society. They touch everyone, I think, almost in some way, and wanting to maybe give a little window in through my perspective, just my life, of things that generally people don't talk about a lot, or even a window into a world in special education that, you know, with behavior, people don't know, or they think, oh, that's a bad kid, or that's a bad person. And I personally, through my training and everything else, know that there aren't any bad people, that there's really maladaptive behavior. So I guess I wanted to illuminate that. I think you get a sense, obviously I mentioned things like studying with Dr. Ross Green, who is my guru, which I did repeatedly, brought to our high school for a year-long intensive with staff. This comes up in Chimera. How many times people have looked at me who know my work as an actor and go, special education? Wow, how'd you know? That's weird. Or you work with, you know, those kids, the frequent flyers, or like, it's like, and what comes out in the book is the study of acting that I've done since I was 17, and then went and got a degree in and continued to study forever, is the study of behavior. Yeah. That's what it is. Yeah. And so it's an absolute perfect marriage. And I believe that's a line that's in Chimera, because I think that one of the things that people are most afraid of with those types, I hate saying that, with students who struggle in that manner and are sometimes violent, certainly verbally violent and menacing, they're terrified of them. They're, you know, rightfully so. They're terrified. I'm not. Yeah. Big emotions don't scare me at all. And they don't scare me unless it's my child. That's another story that's also in the book. The work of special education for students with emotional and behavioral disabilities is the work of forensic scientists, drilling down into the dirt and detritus that make up every life, digging into why we do what we do. It is in turns fascinating, horrifying, confounding, challenging, maybe a bit dangerous even, and occasionally transcendent. Scary behaviors and big emotions do not frighten me. Scary to me is pretending they don't exist, that this world is just fine and dandy and that life is always beautiful. Scary is avoiding the darkness or acting as if the darkness is not visible. That is what really terrifies me, because then each of us is truly alone. I cannot tell anyone what I see, what I feel, and how things make no sense to me. That there is a fucking horror show. But there's another reason for this second career of mine, and this one is far more personal. My son has a diagnosis of ADHD and needs speech therapy too. So he has been officially coded and is under an IEP. IEP, Special Ed abbreviation for Individualized Education Program. I think the ADHD diagnosis means he hates alternating between lining up and sitting frickin' still for 6.5 hours a day, like about 10 jillion other kids who are forced to do these inane things in public schools. Apparently, he has committed the heinous crime of taking the stairs to the library 2 at a time. My muttering doesn't stop until just outside the anteroom to the principal's office, where Eli sits, dejected and confused, and obviously beyond relieved to see his mom, who will surely free him from this Kafka-esque hellscape called second grade. In an early morning phone call, Stephen, my best friend's fiance, tells me he's going to kill himself. I talk him out of it. An hour later, job done. We say our pleasant see you laters, and I place the Bakelite receiver back in its wall cradle while slinging 7-month-old Eli over onto my left hip. Ow! His chubby foot digs into my ovary. Little 3-year-old Stella is tugging on my oversized nightshirt with exasperation. Come on, Mommy, I want to go jump in the leaves. If I had any second thoughts about Stephen's intention, they never occurred to me post-phone call. I was not yet a special education teacher of students with emotional and behavioral disabilities, but no matter. I should have known better, should have thought of someone to call. The police if necessary, but I didn't. The day continues to unfold, filled with games of make-believe and walks down the hill from our small rented cottage, perched just above town, with me pushing the packed blue stroller stuffed with toys and bottles and chunky little Eli, swaddled in his bright blue and pink jacket with his knit navy cap. Stella skipping alongside, picking up leaves and bugs and interesting rocks as we lumber over the uneven cement sidewalk towards our next adventure. Early in the afternoon, after our peanut butter and jelly triangle sandwiches and cut-up hot dog lunch, a truck pulls into the driveway. Oh, it carries my reupholstered living room chairs. Oh my God, Lisa, they're beautiful. The phone interrupts Mom's visions for more living room updates mid-sentence. I grab for the call. A crazy person is screaming gibberish at the other end of the line, and I'm about to hang up when I make out the tortured words of my best friend. Stephen hung himself, he's dead! There is no time between being a mom and caring for my now damaged best friend for me to dwell on an obvious fact. I was the last person to speak with Stephen. He told me he would kill himself. I did nothing. I just have to live with the horror of my failure to act, as well as the relief that my best friend dodged a life-threatening bullet of her own. Ever since, however, there is no fleeting glimpse of suicidal ideation in anyone that I do not pursue with vigor. Not ever. The evil twins. I link depression and anxiety because they often go hand in hand in their devastating and capricious chaos. It seems, unless you have experienced the unique helplessness that comes with having someone you love suffer with this complex nightmare of symptoms that conjoin, interact, impede living in a galaxy of funhouse horrors ranging from the mundane to the life-threatening, you, the occasional observer, cannot fathom the consequences. The clusterfuck of symptoms of major depressive disorder with anxiety as described in the DSM-5, the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Health Disorders, 5th edition, includes things like feeling sad, empty, hopeless, a loss of interest in things, an inability to feel pleasure, feeling worthless, guilty for no reason, inability to concentrate, inability to sleep or sleeping a lot, and of course, the terrifying topper, suicidal ideation. Pair that with the poisonous angst clinical anxiety has to offer, feeling keyed up or tense, restlessness, difficulty concentrating, worry, fear of bad things happening or being out of control, to name just a few. And you have a hellish cocktail that not only knocks you back, it knocks you the hell out of your own life. People mean well, though, so for those who care, I offer only this. Sit vigil. Just show up. Don't attempt to fix. You can't. Mostly, I just sit and be next to my child who is grown. Sometimes I talk, but mostly not. What is that adage? You are only as well as your sickest child. Yes, that is correct. Hours and hours, days and days turn into years and years of this. The suicidal ideation is the worst. It comes and goes over years. Mom, could you help us, please? Could you contrive a salt pork poultice to draw this stubborn, ugly depression from its ribbon-nested and infested seat in my son's soul? I'm begging you, Mom, work your miracle, please. Audrey's white skin is porcelain perfection, what you can see of it. Her long, lithe limbs are discreetly covered. There is no sign of the deep and wide blackish purple grooves, harrowing harrows, running up and down and side to side on her legs and arms in a visual and visceral roadmap of years and years of serious cutting. No thin strips of slash for Audrey, no tentative slice for her. When she gouged, she meant it. The open casket is surprising. I did not expect that. Standing next to her, I hold my palm up to her small brow and nestle it against her now peaceful face, while I send waves of energy and love to her spirit, wherever she is. Her father moves beside me and whispers, "Thanks, Lisa, for your work with her. It wasn't enough, not enough to keep her here, on the planet. The lump in my throat keeps my words in. How is he even able to speak? The inner nightmare of Audrey's pain was finally too much. No love, no family, no school, no program could assuage her need to leave. Some spirits are just too beautiful, too fragile for this hostile world. Mental illness and the havoc it wreaks is also a very personal journey for me. But from what I see in my profession and all around me, mental illness and all of its adjuncts, substance abuse, domestic violence, financial insecurity, they're taboo to discuss in our culture, despite being so many people's experience. I keep asking myself, why? Why? Code red, boys and girls. Find a place to hide from young Tommy with a well-recognized but long-ignored history of disenfranchisement who has gotten his hands on Bampi's AR-15 and sure as hell wants to rain down bullets and kill us all. Grab your comfort fidgets and naptime blankies. If we live through this, I promise we'll have circle snack early today. Jesus Christ. Wait a minute, did Claire just say this is not a drill? Now we wait. On the floor, all of us. Jake, get your elbow out of my rib. Screw your rib, Alex. I can't help it. I got no effing room. Guys, please. We're coexisting in the Batcave here. What the hell does coexist mean? Peter is often annoying, but it's likely he really doesn't know its meaning. I mean, shut the fuck up, asshole. I burst out laughing. I can't help it. Sarah's deep voice and razor-like wit coming from her petite and typically quiet self often cracks me up. I wish I knew what was going on. This is long. I'm watching the clock move past 1 hour. My right leg's asleep. The intercom crackles again. Claire's voice has an odd edge. All clear. You may move to your next class. I repeat, all clear. Move to block 3. Act normal, kids. Just all of us act like everything's normal. midday in Gamma, and I've got one student in a full-blown anxiety-fueled meltdown, 4 others who are in their small group English class, waiting for me to get back to reading crack hours into thin air, and one angry young man cooling off after an outburst in Mr. T's room. There's a small knock on my closed door. I open the door. Standing outside, I see a clearly outraged administrator, Mrs. Chase, and my daughter's beloved art teacher, Mrs. Cafferty. Mrs. Chase, not my daughter's forever favorite, glares at me with red lasers for eyes and thrusts her bony thumb towards what turns out to be a very pretty glazed clay pig. This is what Stella made in art class. It is a bomb. She needs to be reprimanded, possibly suspended, and this pig needs to be destroyed immediately. Jesus. Who knew the school day could revolve so suddenly and poignantly around such an unpredictable porcine predicament? That pig is a menace to the community. I've taken him to the sheriff to make sure he's destroyed. Thank you. Thank you.